We are making a chocolate layer buttercream cake. I'm using 1 stick of softened butter, 1 cup of sugar. We're also putting in 4 eggs. Just throwing it all right in. I'm going to cream it all together. Now we're going to add something that is amazing to this mixture. It is 2 cups, 16 ounces, yes, 16 ounces of Hershey's chocolate syrup. You can make your own on the Hershey's can, but I'm just using Hershey's syrup. This is going to be one good chocolate cake. It smells so good. Well, anything with Hershey's chocolate is going to be good. We are going to sift in 1 cup of cake flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/8, which is a pinch of salt. Salt brings out the flavor, and we're just going to sift it. Mix this up. To beat that for about 1 minute. I'm going to kind of mix this around. Make sure I get all the flour. Scrape it around. That was so fast. So now we are going to grease our cake pans, and I am going to be using my cake round parchment paper. I'm going to use 3 9-inch round cake pans. I always grease my cake pans with a little bit of shortening, even if I'm putting in parchment paper. I probably do a little extra sometimes because I'm not like a professional baker, and probably they know all tricks and things. I'm just doing basically what my mama did and my grandma and my Aunt Liv. Just try to do what they did. Just pass it down. Just a little bit of cake flour left, so I am going to flour my pans with this. Tap it out. Put in a piece of parchment paper. Just like that. Sometimes you would think it was just easier to go ahead and buy a cake, but you put your love in this, your time and your love, and sometimes we don't always have time, and maybe we have to split it up, maybe make part of it one day. These freeze great. You can freeze cake layers and then bring it out a week later or 2 weeks later, a couple months, and then pull it out, and it'll be even moister because it's been in there with that moisture, and when it unthaws, it's really good, and it is easy to frost that way. Okay, so now we're going to divide this into thirds and put it in the pans. Yeah, I forgot to put my vanilla in. Oh well, it'll still taste good. You can't have all that chocolate syrup and it not taste good. So we just have a little bit of extra vanilla. I'm gonna put it in the frosting. I think it'll be just fine. Y'all know I just let these sit out for a little while, for about 5 minutes. This is gonna be so good, even if we did forget the vanilla. There is no perfect cook. Well, I don't know. There's a couple really good cooks. But Everybody makes mistakes or forgets something sometimes, and you just move on. I'm going to put these cake pans into a 350-degree preheated oven for about 15 minutes. I'm going to check them. Normally it takes about 22 in my oven, but it just sometimes different cakes with different items just cook differently. So now we are going to make our buttercream frosting. 5 cups of sifted powdered sugar. Just wondering if I measured 4 cups of powdered sugar or if I measured 5. I'll just have one extra one on hand. So if you see me putting some extra powdered sugar in, it's because I'm 58, y'all. I'm 58. Things don't just come together like they used to. That's all right. There's some things in life I don't want to remember. That's okay. What happens in this kitchen is real. It's really what happens all the time in this kitchen. I'm going to get a reserve cup of powdered sugar just in case I don't have enough. I just want to say thank you again for watching my videos, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel. It is free. I'm going to add, oh, there's my cakes. Oh, didn't even get to finish my frosting. Let's check those cakes. Oh yeah, 15 minutes, good. While them cakes are cooling, we're gonna finish up this buttercream. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, it's gonna bring out that flavor. And 3 sticks of butter. That's why this is so good, y'all. It's really good. So I'm gonna put 1 in at a time and we're gonna mix it together. And this is 4 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. Stick of butter. I do think I forgot the other cup of powdered sugar. It's a little too moist, so I think I'm gonna pop this in. It was sifted too. I sifted it. And then I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla. That's the vanilla we forgot a while ago and I had to add to it. My favorite frosting. Oh yeah. I'm gonna scrape it down a little bit. We are not gonna refrigerate this because it will turn hard. I've done that before. Not even thinking I'm making the cream cheese frosting, but this is the buttercream. And we're gonna leave it out and let it set while my cake cools. I wanna share with you a little secret. This is a very fudgy type cake. But what I do, because you know when you turn it out, you don't want it to stick to the cooling rack, but you want it to cool. You just take another piece of parchment paper because it is kind of a sticky cake. And you just kind of put it in there. When you turn it out, you turn it over and it won't stick and you can just peel it right off. But when I started putting the parchment on top also, and then I just flip it out. See, you got parchment on both. Oh, it's hanging just a little. Well, that's just a good piece. Oh, y'all, that's so good. But you can try it. See, I have the 2 parchment papers. This works so good, y'all. Putting just a little dab of buttercream on the bottom so it kind of won't slide around. Flip that over just like that. We're gonna put on our buttercream. We want our cake to really cool because when you put that buttercream on it, it will melt all over the cake. And I told you I'm not a big cake decorator. I'm trying, y'all. I need to take a class. I need to go down to the community college and take me a cake decorating class. Comment below. Let me know a little bit about yourself. This cake is completely cooled, and I did put some plastic wrap over my buttercream so it would stay really soft and not hard enough. I'm going to put this in my vintage cake plate. I've got my cake frosted. Now we're going to add our toppings. We're going to add some chocolate chips. We're going to add some nuts, and I'm going to roast them. I left my oven on, and I'm going to roast these for about 10 minutes. About a handful, cupful. Depends on how big your hand is. Maybe 2 cupfuls. Everybody loves nuts. Okay, we are going to be adding 1 cup of chocolate chips to the top of this. This is a homemade cake. It's not going to look like a store-bought cake. It's going to look like a homemade cake. It's going to look like Grandma and Mama cooked it. And Grandma and Mama did cook it. So I am a grandma and I am a mama. Love being a grandma. And I got a new little grandbaby on the way. Be here in a few weeks. This is what it looks like with just the chocolate chips. I'm going to kind of mash them. We don't want to get frosting on them. Just kind of mash them down. We're just going to go around the edges. I got my pecans out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool just a minute, and then I'm going to chop them up. And I'm just going to take a little chopper, chop them right up. I'm going to let these cool. I chopped them up. Edge of the cake. I'm going to kind of take me a little spoon and go around the cake. And I think I'm going to put some pecan halves on top. I think that's going to be so pretty. I'm gonna roast them up real quick. We are going to take our cooled pecans and just start placing them on top. This is my fudgy chocolate layer cake with pecans and chocolate chips.